Hey everybody, Anthony here, FSU Off-Road. Welcome back to another video. As you see in the title, it is time to start building our 4800 car. If you don't know what a 4800 car is, it is a specialized class for Ultra 4 racing. Basically, there's only a few limitations. Has to be a two-seater. You have to run solid axles. It has to be a front-mounted motor and one shock per corner, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is kind of whatever you want to do. And 37-inch DOT tires is one of the stipulations and limitations to the 4800 class, also known as a legend class. So we are going to start building our legend class car today. Okay, first things first, going through the manual, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out all these tubes out of this box here, and I'm going to go ahead and lay them out because they're all numbered. And once we get that done, we'll be able to start going through some of these steps on getting this chassis built. All right, how to build a tube chassis. Step number one, locate your two pieces that you need. Two pieces is number one and two pieces is number three, which is what we did here. And if you look closely, TMR marks all of them with the appropriate numbers. That way it makes them easy to find your tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these cleaned up on the ends, just because of the mill scale there. Get them all cleaned up, and then I'll get them tacked square the way they need to be, and then that'll just start this lower section of the actual chassis itself. That's what this part is, and then we'll just continue from there and work our way up. One side note, before I got into this, they tell you how to build jigs for this. You can build a jig, you don't have to build a jig. It doesn't really matter. Might save some time, might make it a little bit easier. However, basically what the jigs are going to do are they're going to hold them at an appropriate height for everything to be welded. We got enough stuff around here that we'll just make it work without a jig. So, just take that with a grain of salt. Okay, so I got this down here. Like I said, the concrete's probably gonna be like the truest thing that I have as far as a workbench table area, so I'm gonna do that here. I threw some welding clamps on here to kind of get a good idea. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw a measurement from each corner until I get it dead nut center, and then once I do that, I'll throw some tacks on here, and then like I said, these cuts make everything super nice and easy, and then just nice and tight as far as welding goes. So I want to take the measurements now, get this tack welded up, and then probably clean up and just really hit this hard and heavy tomorrow. I just wanted to get the first pieces done, just to make some type of progress today. Day two here, working on the new chassis. But what I want to do for you guys is I want to time the whole thing. It's 12:45 now. So I want to just time everything and see how long it truly takes to build this chassis from the box of tubes that you saw. Got our tubes that we're going to use here, and one important thing is this layout diagram tells you, so this is going to be the front on the pictures, and it kind of shows you how to do it, but this one is the important one because this one shows you the numbers that you need to do it and where they go. So we know that 13 is going to be in the front, 11, 12 is on the side, and then 14 in the rear. So that's important, especially when you don't know if there's different links or anything to the bars. I didn't measure. I'm assuming that they might be, just that way you can make the front just a little bit more narrow. Maybe not, I don't know. next step is starting some of the assembly portion of it. We'll make some measurements on jig A, get the heights where we need it, start putting some tubes on there, and yeah, see if we can get the top of this actually done. That'd be pretty awesome today. Well, that's going to conclude my time working on this today, but I would say we got pretty far. We got our subframe parts, the actual main rails welded up and everything. We've got the shoulder supports done with the A pillar, B pillars all tacked up, the front windshield frame. Now there's no directions on here on specifying where these actually go, so just some encouragement, maybe some pointers here. I would start with the 2 window pillars to get your front bar of actually where it's going to be, and then use your support bar to track where your B pillar is going to be. That way it'll kind of give you an idea, because not gonna lie, I thought that, you know, maybe the B pillar will be at a 90 degrees. I tack welded it at 90 degrees and it wasn't at 90 degrees. I had to, you know, take the tack welds off and push it back. It's slightly at an angle, which is perfectly fine, but you know, for roughly, you know, 5-ish hours or so, I think we made really good progress. I ran out of welding wire, so I can't make any more tacks, but yeah, I mean, I think we did great as far as a good stopping point too, because the next part, once we get this all tacked together, it'll be working on the subframe and then putting those two together. But yeah, so I'm going to regroup and I'll see you now. Well, back at it here. It's been a couple of days. Went ahead and set up the top of the race Jeep here, the top of the chassis here in a different orientation. I got everything centered back up and level. Now that we're at a place to where we want to start adding some of the support tubes and stuff, what we need to do is on these bottom sides where I was talking about earlier, we need to go ahead and fully weld those on the B pillar. That way the B pillar is completely welded underneath the top brace here that'll go across, and it's notched out for it, but I want to make sure that this bar is completely welded, and then we can adjust accordingly for that one, and then we can weld that one on top of it. That way you're kind of double welding all these joints, making them a little bit stronger. Well, aside from being fully welded, everything on the upper part of the chassis is completely done. All of our supports, A pillar support, V in the windshield, our X on top, our W in the back, even our back supports here in the back. So everything is done, minus probably a good 2 hours of welding. I mean, it's really going to take longer to weld than it is to assemble this thing. And it is 7 o'clock, so started at 5, and that means we put in 2 more hours, so that's a total of 7 hours-ish on all this. Hence, you know, I had to grind and cleaning everything off here and there as we go, but really satisfied. So for 7 hours, the top part's completely done. I guess it'll probably take another 7 hours to do the bottom part, and then we'll do the front and the rear. But you know, just doing it in the garage. Hopefully this encourages you to do something in the garage. I mean, it's not impossible. You could definitely do it. Like I said, I'm not a professional fabricator. I'm a hobbyist. I just enjoy doing this type of stuff. Welcome back to day 3. So today we're going to start working on this lower section of the actual chassis there. You can see it here going through all the lower portions there. So we're going to get our jack stands out, work on a jig here, get it all situated, tack welded together, just like we did on the top portion of the Jeep chassis. I say Jeep chassis because that's what skin we're going to put on there, but the TMR chassis. And yeah, so let's get to it. All right, back at it again today. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here. Just got back from the gym, and I have a full fun-filled day here in the garage. Taylor's at work today, so I get to finish working on this chassis. Well, I say finish, but it's not gonna be done today. However, I do want to see how far we can get. So, last little section, we finished this bottom portion. We finished obviously tacking together and welding some of the major important areas in the top, and now today is the day where we merge the two together, and as you can see, it's starting to come along. I'm super excited. We'll have to get some good measurements, get our center lines and all that for the actual chassis itself, but yeah, it's starting to come together and I'm super excited. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty tired today, but we got the main chassis all completed here. A lot of ratchet straps, a lot of going back and forth, trying to get the right measurements, making sure everything was nice and square the whole time, front to back, also side to side, going forwards, make sure it had the right angle. The first time I did it, I took the wrong measurements. I was a ½ inch short, and that ½ inch made a huge difference when I went to go to put the supports and stuff in. It wasn't the right height, so I had to cut all the tack welds off and then redo it, and then it fell, so I had to basically start over. So full day in the garage here, not what I wanted, but at the end of the day, it is coming together. Another day working here on the chassis. As you can see behind me, there was a little bit more done this week, but not a whole lot. I just added the back bars in the back here. It just took me about an hour and a half or so to put them all together and to kind of tack them in place, get them all centered up. So we're gonna pull the chassis back out, get it in the middle of the floor, get it all nice and level again, and then today we're gonna work on the front and get the front built up the way it needs to be, and that way this cage will be completely tack welded together and assembled the way it needs to be. That's going to conclude this video and this initial build and start to this chassis. I'm super excited, and it's something that I've wanted to do for a very long time, and getting the chance, an opportunity to do it, well, you know, it's super exciting. Yeah, I mean, this thing's turning out great. I'm running out of space, however, you know, it's worth it in the long run, right? Anyways, I hope you guys like what you saw. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notification bell, because I'm gonna be doing a whole series on this build right here, this chassis, this 4800 car. Super excited to hit the track in it. I'll just have a little bit more abilities than the 4600 class, but still super excited to get this thing done and out of here completed. Still got a long ways to go, but make sure you stay tuned for those other videos, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.